Welcome my friends to a 40k Halloween video on the Legion of the Damned. For those who don't know, they mysteriously appear in their pale and gaunt power armour in hours of desperation to aid the Emperor's forces. Spoilers for Legion of the Damned by Robert Sanders throughout. Let's get into the story. In the tale we follow Kersh, who is on a cemetery world to defend it from the followers of Khorne. The world holds the tomb of an important High Lord of Terror. Will the Legion of Damned turn up to help him as he stands alone? Friends, let's find out. As Kersh ran away from the memorial mausoleum, he saw angels haunting the city in streets, passages and alleyways. The Marine thought he was seeing things, but the damned seeped from shadows, cutting down both demons and ruinous champions with cold efficiency. As the book paints it, the damned legionaries burned with an ethereal fire, their bone-sculpted armour a Stygian nightmare of darkness and guilt flame. Every stride they took, though silent, was a step of fearless determination. In contrast, the forces of Cain approached the damned with fury, and in answer the legion moved with the certainty of the grave and killed with the indomitable will of beings who already knew what it was to lose life and know the end. Their very presence brought fear to their enemies, and they had not known this fear before. It was an antiquated darkness beyond petty notions of survival or an agonizing death, a nightfall of the soul, an eventuality so hopeless and final that their victims didn't dread the end of their existence. They feared not existing at all. The heralds of Khorne hunted and found only ethereal warriors who became one with the darkness, and once gone, they would ink blot back into reality behind blood letters like execution squads. The shots from the damned were not physical as they left the barrels of the Marines' weapons, but became so when it mauled its demonic target and then continued to stride through baying mobs of traitor guards and war thralls, turning to target those there with their heavy barrels like clubs spilling the blood and brains of the World Eater warbands, and in answer the teeth of their axes and shots of their pistols did nothing against the damned, who would not seem to die. Kirsch in the meanwhile was under attack from demons. As he rode, several came close to tearing him from his bike. He fired its twin bolters in reply to clear a path. One weapon shredded his shoulder and the ride, but then spectral bolt guns eliminated that threat. And he saw unnatural blocks of blood-black ice were raining down on the district and necroplex beyond like artillery fire, and he manoeuvred the bike round the craters they made. A demon hound began to stalk him, and as he tried to evade it, he saw three of the damned in the road, and they fired at him. He raised up his arm, and he went straight through them, but the demon was cut down behind him, and then the damned faded to nothing. He saw the limits of the city then, and at that moment a colossal beam of energy struck it, and the ground beneath the bike was rocked, and that wave threatened to wipe him out as well. And the bike fell and struck the crater wall, and Kirsch was flung, and he came to a rest at last next to a gravestone. Despite this, he felt danger around him. The once city of Absequa was a mess of flaming wreckage and settling dust, but still the forces of the blood god fought on, even though their own bodies were roasted and smashed, and the Legion of the Damned also stood and hunted down the demonic specimens. They seemed to have been completely undamaged by the city-levelling hot beam of energy and the destruction this caused. Kirsch limped, surrounded on either side by demon-haunted grounds, and the devastation continued as the book sets it out. Immense, warp-frozen shards of blood pounded the burial grounds, devastating the rabid hordes, blasting demon entities back to the depths of the warp, and laying waste to Khorne's most frenzied warriors, decimate champions and able butchers. And all the Marine recognised with the flame-swathed angels of his salvation, a legion of the damned, moving about the graves like an army of ghosts, taking the fight to the ruinous powers, executing the tainted and delivering doom to the Emperor's enemies. And Kirsch collapsed, hurt enough by the damage done that he could no longer get up. He closed his eyes for a moment, and when he opened them, One of the damned stared down at Kersh from its skeletal eye socket, and it dropped something onto his chest and walked into nothingness. Kersh was the sole survivor, and became over time his legion's new chapter master. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this Halloween-esque tale of the Legion of the Damned. I enjoyed making it. Drop me a comment down below.